I'm not like the rest, be banging on my chest. From CR feeling blessed, with my family writing checks. Man, I love to feel success. Hey.
For those who don't quite fit in and never wanted to. I'm Sophia Angelica, and this is the Non-Conformess. Welcome to the Non-Conformess, a space for people who don't really fit the mold and, you know what, don't really want to. For those who may not know me, I'm Sophia Angelica. I'm a singer-songwriter, an actress, and a public speaker. I make bilingual pop music, and I talk openly about my Latin culture, breaking stereotypes, and the way that stereotypes don't define me, as a way to break out of the boxes we're told that we have to fit into in order to succeed. My guest today is someone who's been navigating that since he was literally 9 years old. I know him since he was literally 9 years old, so we're familia here. Now here he is, all grown up. Kevin Chacon is an actor. He's a music artist. You might recognize him from Marvel's Jessica Jones on Netflix, from Percy Jackson and the Olympians on Disney+, and his upcoming work on Apple TV+. Hint, hint. But today, we are not here to run through a resume. We're here to talk about identity, pressure, stereotypes, creativity, and what it actually means to grow up in an industry that constantly tries to define you. Welcome to the show, Kevin Chacon.
What's up, you guys? Thank you for having me.
Hey, so I have this little thing called, tea with Sophia here. Cheers.
Cheers. Complimentary tea, you guys. Come on the podcast.
I know. I'm a big tea person. Everyone who knows me knows that I drink tea more than I drink water.
Yeah, this feels like the Jimmy Fallon show.
Hey, a little bit. It's the Sophia Angelica show. But first of all, I want to ask, if we stripped away the titles of actor, musician, Latino, rising star, if we took away all those titles, who is Kevin Chacon?
Wow, that's a really good question. Holy shoot. Wow, I was talking about that with my friend the other day, and we were like, it's so crazy how famous people are just labeled. Because it's like, you're labeled as an actor, you're famous, you got money.
Yep.
I was like, and so many people act a certain way and act so different and act entitled. You know what I mean? So it's crazy when, you know about that person, but strip their name from them, strip their career, strip their money. Who are they? They're nobody. They're a regular person living in a regular world. Same thing as us.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I think that's what makes me so mad about the industry and with those people. But that's why I love that question, because it goes deeper than you just made it seem.
Well, because a lot of people, certain titles may make someone feel like they are entitled.
Oh, for sure.
To things, right? To things, to people, to whatever they want. But I always like to find out who the person is at their core, because that really defines a person, I feel.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think, I love that question. I think Kevin Chacon is a hardworking guy who has dreams and ambitions, and he's the biggest family-oriented man you'll ever meet, and he'll protect his family at whatever cost, at whatever cost it comes. He's a very loving guy. He has a big heart, but he's not afraid to stand up or to execute things a certain way if he has to, And I just think he's loyal, he's brave, and he's ready for whatever comes his way. Like my mom says, poner el pecho a las balas. So, so I feel like that's who Kevin Chacon is if you were to take away my career and everything else I have. Yeah.
I love that. I love that answer.
Who is Sophia Angelica? I want to know that.
Who is Sophia Angelica?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, take away the music, the acting.
I don't know, Kevin. You're the one who knows me since I was 18-ish, 17, 16?
16.
Goodness, yeah. And I know you since you were just becoming a person.
She knew me in diapers, you guys.
Okay, if I were to answer that, putting me on the spot here.
Yeah.
I would say something very similar. I'm very family oriented. Everyone who knows me knows that my family comes first before anything in the world, it's family, and friends as well. You know, it's taking care of those around you, those that you love. I would say, like, passionate in the sense that, like, I'm very creative and very passionate about everything I do. So that doesn't have to mean, like, I'm successful at everything I do. That just, or that I have a title in it. That just means that I'm passionate about things that I do. Also very workaholic, like.
For sure.
Definitely a workaholic. But I feel like I would say also kind of cheesy and quirky. Like, I always say I have that, like, Disney vibe.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, that's okay too.
That's a funny way to put it. I'm not gonna lie.
So definitely those qualities, but also I would say very deep and stubborn. But very, very deep in the sense that, like, I like to analyze everything, everyone, psychology, like, all of those things are super fascinating to me, and I love to really understand the world and to understand people and why they do things. And I think that's why a lot of my topics do revolve around something like identity or stereotypes or things.
I love that. Yeah.
Things that kind of, like, force people in a certain direction, because it's like, you know, at the end of the day, you can't fully blame them, like, for whatever they do. There's always something in someone's surroundings that's influencing. Yeah. So at least that's what I notice. It's a combination of things. It's not just like, this person's stubborn and that's why they did this. Like, there's always some kind of influence. But yeah, I would say that's kind of me in a nutshell without everything that I do.
Fire. I like that. That was a good answer. No, I agree with you. Honestly, knowing you for such a long time. I agree. I agree.
Now, what's something people assume about you that's completely wrong?
Oh Lord.
That could happen online, offline.
Yeah, no, people. Well, there's a lot of things that people assume about me just by looking at me. I say the two main ones. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. I don't know if it's a little explicit. I don't think so. That, like, you know, that, like, I get around, or that, like, I get around with every girl, or that I have a lot of girls, basically. You know, I think that's a big one. And the other one is that people just assume I'm rich. Like, just rich.
Anyone in the entertainment industry knows that's not true, but then everyone outside of the entertainment industry, like, will assume that just because you're in the entertainment industry.
They see big names like Disney and Nickelodeon. They're like, yo, Kevin, you're loaded. You got money. You think if I had money, I'd be living where I live? You know what I mean? Like, I would have got us all out the hood. You know what I mean? But no, those are the two biggest ones that are so wrong. You know. And you know, we build our way up to, not to the first one, we build our way up to the second one, you know, to, you know, getting money and becoming rich one day, you know, God willing. But the first one, I think it's definitely look wise, and the way I speak and the way I talk to people, I feel like people get that vibe. But being in the industry for so long, people don't realize that having that hospitality vibe in a way is like something that comes with it. Being nice, being friendly, being conversational with other people, making new connections, and just talking a lot to people is something that comes with it. But I will admit that kind of like people are like, oh, like you have like a certain swag to you, which is like, you're right, you know, like not everybody talks or communicates the way I do, but that's what makes me unique. So it's like, you know,
of course.
So I understand why people do think that at the start when they just look at me, see how I walk or talk or would do whatever I do. But it's crazy because once they get to know me, like they'll tell me what they actually thought, and they'll be like, oh, like I was completely wrong. I was like, damn.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I've met people who have met you who have mentioned like, oh yeah, he's like surprisingly spiritual and like surprisingly deep, and I'm like, why is that surprising?
People just think I'm like such a, what's it called? Such a prick. Like people think I'm so mean.
Like you have to.
It's crazy. It's actually insane.
Just like they said, like they say you can't judge a book by its cover. So that's almost what this entire podcast is revolved around. Like, don't judge someone based off of the way they look, based off of the way they dress. It's just their own individual style, you know?
Yeah,
like,
but it feels so good to prove people wrong.
Oh, yeah. People look at me and they're like, I get a variety of things, right? I get, the main one is you can't be Latina because you're white and blonde.
I was just about to say, the main one is you're white.
However, I also get, you like Disney girl, like this sweet innocent thing, you know? Mm-hmm. And then when people get to know me, they don't realize the other side that I have that's like much deeper, like can have a conversation all night about politics, like something really dark even. Like, it's not everyone is just this one thing.
No,
I
not
think
at all.
We're all like these multifaceted like beings that have many sides.
Yeah, but I definitely agree with that, and I believe that every single interaction or every single person in this world brings out a different side of you.
Oh yeah.
And there's a limitation of people that bring out all of the sides.
Yeah.
You know, someone that you can be your full self around without being judged or looked at differently. But I think that so many people have judgments on one another depending on, oh yeah, this is the only side I've seen of them, so this is what I think, you know. But even that's not valid. Nobody's outlook on you is valid whatsoever.
I feel like, the only one that's important is your own.
I was just about to say.
But to be honest, sometimes not even we have a full grasp of what we're capable of.
Not at all.
Like,
not at all.
It's like we can have this whole other side waiting to come out that we haven't even discovered yet.
Yeah.
And that's why you consistently grow and learn as you get older. My mom always says, she's like, I'm still learning, you know, and she learns every day with different things that she knows nothing about. And, you know, maybe you even discover you have a new talent in like your 50s.
Facts. No, but it's so crazy because this is all of our first times living life. Like, you know, like it's not your mom's third time living a life, you know.
You never know. She could have been the dog in the last life.
We never know. But this is our first time living in this world, you know, and experiencing things with each other. And it's so crazy how, I don't know, that we don't know every single person that is like close to us to the full extent. But it's so crazy to me because I was thinking about this the other night. I was like, it's so crazy how my parents know me so well, but I don't know them 100%. Have you ever thought about that?
Well, yeah, it's like they had this whole other life before you.
Yeah, and you know nothing about, by the way, but they know about your whole life. Well, depend, you know, certain family situations.
Yeah.
But, you know, like in my family's case, I know about, you know, some stories of my dad's and some stories of my mom's, but it's crazy how they watched me grow up and I'm an open book with them and they know everything about my life and they know me so well. And if I really think about it, I'm like, wow, I don't know my parents at all.
Yep.
Like, I trust them
I think about
and I love
that
them,
too.
but they don't, like, I don't know them, you know? And it's so crazy because it's just wild to think about how they know every single detail about me, and when I compare it, I'm like, I don't know who these people are, you know?
That's 100% true. But
like, it's wild.
And I mean, now we're talking about, like, we all have this one life to live. We're living life for the first time. And, like, at your young age, you're, like, 19. You've already lived a lot. So, like, in your childhood, you did Jessica Jones, you did Nickelodeon. So, like, what parts of your childhood do you feel that you had to trade in for this opportunity?
Everything.
Because you lived a very different childhood.
Yeah, no, my dad talks to me about that all the time. And it's crazy because I look at so many kids and, you know, they're having fun, they're riding bikes, they're doing this and that, like, or they're, you know, they're doing bad stuff, or they're, you know, or they're just living life, playing video games all day, every day. And I didn't get to do any of that. Yeah. You know, and it's so crazy because I started at such a young age. And my parents always tell me, like, dude, like, your childhood was stripped away from you. And when I go back at it, I realize it, you know, and it's like, oh, my friends were going to home. They went to school and they went home just to play video games all day. And I had to leave school early to go to set and then be at set until like 10:30 p.m. not leave until like 12 p.m. because I had to finish my school hours, and then get back home at like 4 a.m. to get up at 7 a.m. to go to school again. You know what I mean? Like, it's so crazy to think about. So
Crazy
I think,
schedule.
yeah, I think my whole childhood was really stripped away, but I definitely say I made the most of it. You know, I still rode bikes with my boys everywhere. I never played video games. That's one thing I never did. I never got to play. I never really liked it either. But my childhood was so different. But I say being in this industry really affected how I make relationships. And I feel like that's another thing that was stripped away from me, was being able to make really tight relationships and good connections with people my age. And I feel like that's something that you and me have discussed that before, that you go through a lot as well. Because I've only been surrounded by adults and only spoken to adults. So now it's like, you know, I'll go to my friend's house, and instead of hanging out with my friend, I'll talk to their parents for like 3 hours, and they'll be like, hey dude, like, the heck, like, yeah, I invited you over. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, like, I'm having a really good conversation, you know? But you realize that talking with adults is a lot more beneficial. You know, you learn a lot, and they give you outlooks on their experiences and on life, and they're people who have lived on this earth a lot longer than you, so they can give you advice. There's just a lot of things. So I feel like that whole thing, that whole maturity level, it got spiked through the roof, to where like people my age are still living like a childhood in a way, you know? Like they're just finding out who they are as adults. And I knew the adult I was since I was like 13.
I feel that. I feel people my age are still living slightly in this I'm still figuring it out stage, right? And, you know, we're also figuring it out in our own way. But like, I had the same experience where maybe when I was 6, 7, you know, I was getting pulled out of school to do voiceovers and to sing and to go backstage with my mom while she was in a play and the whole thing. And so, yeah, my friends were all ages, and I still have my childhood friends who are my age, right? But it does feel like a different vibe. However, I always like to say, like, we're all unique and different in our own ways, so it is possible to find people our age that are like that as well, or that are extremely mature.
It's just limited.
It's just limited. But then you meet adults who are like way behind.
Oh yeah.
And they're still in that childhood phase, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, you know, innocence, not ignorance, is bliss. You know, it's happiness, but you know, at the same time, it's like, it's because everyone has their own unique identity that they kind of put on the table, you know? I've met people younger than me, like you included, who have surprised me with like the conversations I have with them, right? So I think it is based on the individual, but I will say, because maybe like people older than you are older and they have more experience in life, experience does say a lot. And it does add to like good advice. But you spent a lot of time with adults, for example, on like Jessica Jones, right? Maybe not much Santiago of the Seas.
No, not much.
Because it was more voiceover. What was that experience like working on Jessica Jones with adults, and maybe comparing it to working on Santiago of the Seas, which was a completely different idea at 9 years old, you know?
I feel like, wow, this is funny because it was two totally different experiences. And I started Jessica Jones before I started Santiago of the Seas, and I feel like those roles should have been reversed. Because Santiago of the Seas was so kid friendly, and you know, that type of thing going on, and I'd get to the studio, and it'd just be me, and like probably the next kid would come in, and I'd talk a little bit to the kid, and my parents would talk to the parents. It'd be like a very nice kid friendly vibe, you know? And I started Santiago of the Seas when I was like 11. So it was insane, because I started Santiago of the Seas at 11. I started Jessica Jones at 9. And at 9 years old, I was introduced to a Marvel set, right? And this isn't Avengers. We're talking Defenders. So we're talking bad words all day, sexual scenes, crazy things going on. So I'd get to set, and even when the cameras aren't rolling, it's just bad words and it's just crazy talk and everybody. It's just adults having fun, and they like say sorry to the kids, but they don't care. They're gonna keep doing it, and like I'm just like, yo, like it's fine, I don't care. But it was so crazy being next to like just with adults the whole time and really seeing how they operate. And you meet, like you said, you meet very childish adults and you meet very beneficial adults who help you out and talk to you and whatever type of advice you need. My father, J.R. Ramirez, he played my father in Jessica Jones. I just got chills. He was the most like beneficial guy that I was able to talk to at that age. And it's crazy the conversations me and him had when I was 9.
Oh, I can imagine.
We're talking about college, about cars, about he's giving me financial advice. Like I remember so many things
at 9.
And it's like
don't spend all your money on gumballs.
and it stuck with me, So I went from that at 9 years old to kid friendly at 11.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, okay. So it was a crazy switch up, but I went back to Jessica Jones for season 3 when I was 11. So it was like in between kid friendly and not kid friendly. And then after that, it's just been like, it's really been in and out because now I'm thinking about Percy Jackson being very kid friendly and then Dark Matter being not kid friendly,
Well, we'll definitely get to that.
Yeah.
So I want to kind of jump to like this idea of like stereotypes and identity, especially as an actor in the industry. What stereotypes do you feel that the industry pushes onto Latino men?
I feel like it's so different, and that's such a hard question because I could really only tell you what I feel like the industry sets upon me. And my experience with the industry would be, it's so crazy and so different how you're seen when you look different in a way.
Yeah.
For example, when I had my buzz cut and I was buff, I was getting auditions for like thugs, Latino thugs, light skin mixed like black and white thugs. Even for Chicago Med, I had 2 black parents. And I was Latino. I'm Latino. My dad's a black Latino. My mom's a white Latina, but I'm still Latino, full Latino. Yeah. And I was just perceived as a light-skinned kid. And even in general, I was just seen as a thug, as like dangerous, as like mean. And then I grew my hair out, and now I'm getting like the boyfriend, the boy next door, the love interest.
Have you ever been told to do that on purpose so that you would get these roles?
To shave my head or to grow my hair out? Just to get no. No, but it's crazy when you just do it and you see what comes your way. But yeah, I think that's the craziest thing that they put on Latino men. Mostly about being, just like
dangerous.
Dangerous. Like you see a lot of Latino men just being cholos. Yeah. Being Mexican cholos, even if they're Colombian, whatever, Mexican cholo, being drug traffickers, drug dealers. Yeah. I really can't recall a really good time in where a Latino was perceived as a normal role. Even Scarface. Yeah. I mean, think about Al Pacino's not even Cuban.
Yeah.
But he had to fake being a Latino, and he was a literal drug lord. So it's like, I feel like that's the biggest stereotype they put upon Latino men. But my experience has been kind of similar when I fit the look.
Yeah.
And then when I fit this look, I still get Latino, but I get more Latino boy next door, boyfriend, whatever. And it's not like Spanish. It's just they want a Latino looking guy. Mm-hmm. Full English series.
Well, let's talk about for a second fitting the look. It's like in acting, often that is a big part of what gets you the role,
for sure.
Right? Fitting the look.
You could be, sorry to cut you off. You could be the most terrible actor in the world. You could not even know how to act, and you fit the look, you're getting booked.
And it's crazy because I even get auditions, right, for voiceovers, and it's all in English. They don't want an accent, but they still ask Latinas or Latinos, but they don't even want an accent, and they don't want, like, how can you tell just by someone's voice that they're
It's crazy.
that they're Latino if they don't have an accent? Like, I don't have an accent in English, so how I mean, do they want me to do an accent? Like,
Yeah.
it's really wild how the look has so much to do with it. And the funny thing is, like, we don't realize that anyone could look like they're from anywhere. It's just literally it's to fit a stereotype. Like,
Exactly.
me and my mom have both been told to dye our hairs black so that we can look more Latinas to actually get booked more on TV and film. Like, who has the authority to say that that's what Latinas look like?
Yeah.
Like your mom too.
Yeah, my mom, it's literally insane. Like I said, my mom is the whitest, more white. My mom's whiter than you. My mom is whiter than Sophia, crystal blue eyes that shine.
From Costa Rica.
Blonde hair. And then you have my father, just a dark-skinned Hispanic. Like,
the entire other side.
He's just dark. And a lot of people look at my dad and assume he's Dominican.
Yeah, and what is
just because he's dark?
What is with the separation?
I'm saying, but it's crazy because you go to Costa Rica, you're gonna see white Hispanics, you're gonna see black Hispanics, you're gonna see Asian Costa Ricans,
yeah.
You know, and anywhere you go, Latinos come in every color of the rainbow. It's ridiculous, but it's so crazy how you have to look a certain type, you know.
No, it's really insane that this is the fact of life, right? Anywhere on the internet, in acting, and just anywhere you go, I feel like you find these stereotypes that instantly define what's gonna happen to you.
For sure.
Now, what kind of character would you love to play that, you know, people wouldn't expect from you based off of your look?
You know, I admire that Marvel did this. They did Blue Beetle with Xolo Maridueña, and I think he deserved it so much. And they made this Latino in a Marvel movie with powers, and didn't even just cast him and made the movie about him. They also revolved it around his Hispanic family.
Yep.
And that set the tone so big for Latinos, but there's not enough of it. I would love to do something like that, and I feel like that's something nobody would expect, because the whole Avengers and the whole Marvel universe it's white. It's priority. It's a white, you know what I'm saying? So Latinos aren't really seen, even though, you know, we're coming out more and more into the industry and we're being accepted a lot more because they need diversity. I think I'd love to do more of that. Because my dream role has always, even though, like, I wasn't even just talking bad about it, but I was just, you know, setting it as an example of stereotype. My dream role has always been like a Tony Montana, like from Scarface. But that's something people would expect.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, being in like a Marvel universe with powers, with a Latino background, and like kind of what they did with Blue Beetle would be a role that I would love to do. Yeah. That people would be like, oh wow, wait, Kevin Chacon, Latino Costa Rican, as you know, as a like Marvel superhero, you know? I feel like that would be insane.
I think that would be awesome, and I feel like you would fit that well. And
thank you.
And I know that like the industry is changing, you know, people are being more open, hence Blue Beetle. But at the same time, there's still that thing that's ingrained in us to just like see someone a certain way based off of the way they look.
Yeah.
Like, so that's almost, it's hard to break like society's stereotypes, like perception, because of that. It's something that's been so ingrained in us forever that's hard to break. But now the world is kind of opening up and getting awakened to be like, okay, we should represent more, we should have more diversity, but still, what does diversity look like to them? It looks like Latinos look like this, so let's include a Latino that looks like this. Blacks look like this, so let's include a black person that looks like this. Whites look like this, they look like Taylor Swift, so let's put a Taylor Swift. So again, there's so much multiculturalism, but and everyone wants diversity in everything that they're doing, but they still add that diversity based on the stereotype.
Correct. Yeah.
So it's still not helpful. It's still not showing how unique and diverse we are.
Yeah.
As people. Like, breaking the stereotype would be putting your mom in something, and that's diversity. You know, that's like showing that we can be anything and look like anything.
For sure. No, but it's so sad to me, rolling it back a little bit to what we were talking about. It's so sad to me when people try to break the stereotype that we have, you know? Like, people don't try to stand and be proud of it. It's like, oh my God, I'm a Latina. I speak Spanish. I have a little bit of an accent when I speak English. This is not what Hollywood wants me to be. I'm changing my whole personality. And they won't speak Spanish. They'll pretty much forget about their language. They'll work so hard to fix their accent in English. They'll fix it. They'll become full American.
Yep.
And they'll do that. And it's so crazy to me when I see that, because it's like, we're not seen enough, you know?
Yeah.
It's a prominently white society that they want, and you're giving into the prize, you know?
Or they'll lean into the stereotype.
Yeah.
And make all of their, let's say it's a content creator, right? Maybe they'll make all of their content about being a fiery Latina. And if that's you, great. But if you're leaning into the stereotype and you're saying, I'm Latina because I like to dance, or I'm not, like, if you're saying all of the stereotypes, like, that's still stereotyping yourself in a way. Like, I don't fit almost any of the Latina stereotypes in some way. If people labeled the stereotypes, I fit maybe like 2 or 3, but that doesn't make me any less Latina. Like, stereotypes are just what people put on you, saying, yeah, this is what they're like, right? But again, who has the authority of what they're like?
For sure. No, I feel like people just see it so wrong, and people are so wrong when it comes to the stereotyping, because who's gonna tell us who we are?
Yeah.
You know? And I mean, it's insane to me, because it's like, oh, Kev, you're white because, you know, you were born in America.
Yeah, I get those comments too.
No, dude, I'm Costa Rican. No, but you're white. You're born in America. Yo, my father is Costa Rican. My mother is Costa Rican. What does that make me? I'm Costa Rican. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I speak Spanish. I'm Costa Rican. I'm Latino by default.
Yep.
If I was proud of it or not proud of it, soy Latino by default. You know what I mean? Same thing with you. You know what I'm saying? You're from Argentina. You're literally Latina. Whether you like it or not, whether people like it or not, you're Latina. No matter if you have blonde hair, blue eyes, white skin, purple skin, green skin, you're Latina no matter what.
Likes to dance, not likes to dance.
Exactly. You can speak Spanish, not speak Spanish.
Like, they do that a lot to, like, Jenna Ortega.
I really feel, I saw Jenna Ortega post something, or I saw something post something about her talking about it, and it genuinely broke my heart, because the interviewer was like, I just want you to know you're Latina enough, and you're accepted in our community.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're loved. And it's like, hell yeah, she is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Jenna Ortega is more than loved in our community. And even when I think about Latino actors, I think about Jenna Ortega, and I'm like, look at this girl and how far she's made it.
Yeah.
And how, like, she has Latino roots, and she doesn't speak Spanish, but she's still Latina.
Yeah, she has the roots.
And she's killing it, whether she speaks Spanish or not. But like I said, you don't see Jenna Ortega, oh my God, yeah, I'm Latina. Oh yeah, Latinas do this. Oh yeah, I'm Latina because you know, feel me? She doesn't portray herself as like a hardcore, die-hard Latina posting every day or faking it.
Like,
you know?
why do we have to label ourselves as Latinos, or, you know, just based off of our roots or our race, right? Like, we shouldn't have to, like, be put in that box in general based off of how we look. We should just, like,
Never.
Jenna Ortega is actress,
yeah,
right? Why do we have to put Latina actress? You know, like, it might add something to it, but at the same time, that's not her identity. We're not defined by where we come from. We it's part of it, but we're defined by who we are.
Right.
Like, by our qualities as a human.
Yeah.
Like, being Latina or not Latina doesn't make me any less of a singer. or a writer.
Yeah. That's right. That's
You know,
right.
and even though I'm proud of it, one thing is being proud of where you come from, and yes, I talk about it because I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's my entire identity. I get like comments like, oh, is your only identity like being Latina because you post about it a lot? I'm like, no, I'm proud of it. That's why I post about it a lot. I want to break stereotypes and show us all as human beings. That's why I talk about it a lot. But I don't think that Latina is my personality trait. It's just where I come from.
No, you're right.
Or my culture.
No, yeah, because I say I'm like the biggest thing I'm proud of in this whole world is being Latino and being Costa Rican. And I say it everywhere. I'm Costa Rican. I'm Costa Rican. I'm from Costa Rica. In every single interview. Oh, my parents are Costa Rican.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's not my identity. You know, like it doesn't define who I am. I'm just so proud of it.
We're gonna move on now to your newest shows.
Okay.
So Percy Jackson and the Olympians on
Right.
Disney Plus, and Dark Matter. I know we've spoken about this before, but what was your experience like now as an adult doing shows of this magnitude, right?
I say it's a pretty crazy switch up for sure. Cause I don't know, especially when you're a kid, you don't really you know you're acting and you know you're on set and you know you're just saying lines and having fun and you get to skip school, I guess. But now as an adult, taking this a lot more serious and doing even bigger projects from what Santiago of the Seas was, or Jessica Jones is a very big project, but it's not as known as Percy Jackson. You know what I mean? So being on a show of this type of status is actually insane. It doesn't really hit you until you see the fandom.
Oh yeah.
The fandom is one of the most beautiful things out there. And of course, you're going to get love, you're going to get hate, you're going to get mixed signals. But at the end of the day, the fandom is there.
Oh yeah.
I remember it hit me. It didn't hit me at all. Like even when I went to the premiere and I was on, and I was on the red carpet and doing press, it didn't hit me. It hit me once the show aired, once episode 2 aired. And I'll go on TikTok and I'm just seeing edits of myself and I'm like, wow.
It's like, how do you stay grounded through an experience
I was
like that?
Damn, I look good. No, but it was so crazy. I was like, wow, like that's insane. I you don't know what to do. You don't know what to say.
Yeah.
It's such a surreal experience, such a surreal feeling. But yeah, so now working on Percy Jackson was most incredible thing I've ever done, and I do it over.
You play Chris Rodriguez, son of Lin-Manuel Miranda, and you play a demigod. Now, speaking of breaking stereotypes,
yeah,
and you were saying you want to play someone with powers, right? You're doing it right now as a demigod on Percy Jackson,
Yeah.
They don't label you as the Latino kid, right? This is
No.
It's just, I'm a demigod. That is what it is.
Yeah, no.
Does that change your perception at all of who you are?
No, not really.
My God, I am a god.
No, that's funny. No, but no, not even. It's really insane. I love that Disney has done. I love that Disney's done this diversity thing where Hermes is played by Lin-Manuel Miranda. Athena's played by Andrea Day. Zeus is. It's so many different, so diverse and so beautiful the way they've done it. And even with the cast itself, so it just feels right. It feels
I just
nice.
love when you get an audition and it just says any ethnicity. Thank God.
Yeah.
We don't have to fit a role, fit a type. But Percy Jackson seems to be one of those that really is just come one, come all.
Yeah.
Everyone's welcome.
And I feel like it that's what eases it so much, because in the Percy Jackson world and the gods world and the demigod world, whatever, and the mythology, all the gods go around just making kids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's there's kids from everywhere, there's kids every color, you know what I'm saying? In Hermes' cabin, me and my brother Luke, well, he plays Luke, Charlie Bush now, he plays Luke in the show. he doesn't look exactly like me. You know what I'm saying? He's actually Costa Rican as well.
There you
Insane.
go.
But you know what I'm saying? He's also Latino, but he doesn't look like me. There's like a bunch of kids in Hermes Cabin that are white too. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so many different there's so much diversity, but that's due to the fact that the gods have every and any type of kid.
Yeah. I mean, I love that. It's like anyone could be a god.
Yeah, anybody.
It's like
Anybody.
you really can't tell from anything. It's just and I like to bring in this topic, being in the spotlight, right? You looking through TikTok, right? And seeing yourself represented there. Like literally seeing yourself there, not
Yeah.
even just a representation of you. Do you ever feel like pressure in any way from the outside, from society to be a certain way, to do a certain thing, or to look a certain way? Like any pressure to, like, the limitations that maybe society has in any way?
Every day. Every single day. It's hard to explain because I'm not an insecure person at all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so secure of myself, of what I do.
Well, you're a true, like, if we're talking about non-conformity, like, I would say you're a true non-conformist.
Thank you.
In the sense that, like, you don't let anyone tell you who you should be or who you are. You're
not
very,
at all.
you're very secure in yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is great. But that doesn't take away the fact that there are still outside pressures. There's still people coming at you in all directions.
For sure. I was about to say that I'm the most secure person there is, and I'm not insecure, but that doesn't mean I'm not an overthinker.
Mm-hmm.
I overthink a lot, and I overthink a lot of things, you know what I'm saying, on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
And I feel like as humans, our mind is so powerful, and it could really determine how we feel and how we act. So that's insane to me. And I overthink over the most stupidest things. Even if I'm posting a reel, I watch it 1,000 times, and I'm like, oh, do I look good enough? Like, whatever, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, like, I don't like how I said that word. You know what I'm saying? It's so much. Yeah, it's perfectionism, but it's like, you know what I'm saying? I overthink everything. And I do feel when I do see myself on TikTok, I think it's so cool. And then it's like, wow, like, I feel the pressure of not letting the fandom down, not letting my fans down, setting out a good example. I'm not a perfect human being. You know what I'm saying? I've made mistakes. The difference is I've learned from my mistakes.
Right.
You know, I've made mistakes, but I've took that lesson and applied it to life and haven't done them again. Thank God.
Mm.
You know, and I'm not saying I want to be a perfect human, but I want to set a good example. And every day I work the hardest I can to keep setting a good example. You know what I'm saying? Inspiring. But also at the same time letting kids know, like, hey, none of us are perfect. We're human.
Mm-hmm.
It's a part of life.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to be a perfect example for you guys, but I don't want you guys to take me and be like, oh my God, Kevin Chacon, he's a perfect, like, he has a perfect life. He's on Percy Jackson. Look, you know what I'm saying? Or it's so many things, but definitely pressure for sure. But I learned how to use it. I learned how to work against it, you know, and work with it. That's the only thing you really can do, because if you let it beat you up, you completely just drown, and it'll mess you up.
I mean, there could also be pressure to pick one lane, to pick one direction in life. Like,
yeah, of
too many
course.
people in the arts, they're like, no, that's a hobby. You shouldn't be following that. Like, it's hard.
Yeah.
But you not only picked one lane, you picked many lanes related to the arts. Like, you're also doing music.
Like 4 lanes.
Yeah, you're also we call that multidisciplinary.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
So, like, again, we all have many different facets to us. So, like, why was it important to you to also make music besides being an actor? His stage name is Nybek. With a 3.
NYV3K. It was so meaningful to me. I sounded like a sheep for a second. It was so meaningful to me Cause
this is the raw Kevin Chacon, guys.
facts. This is what I like about podcasts. Everybody could, No, it was it's so meaningful to me because so many people see the actor side of Kevin Chacon, but I'm not. That's not what I am, Like I'm an actor, but when you see Chris on television, you're not seeing Kevin. When you see my character in Dark Matter, you're not seeing Kevin. When you see whatever Vito from Jessica Jones, you're not seeing Kevin.
Yeah.
Whatever the case may be, if you see me on TV, that is not Kevin. I'm portraying a character.
Yep.
So I'm stepping into somebody else's shoes now. When I enter into my music flow state where I'm locking in, it's so vulnerable, and it's you guys see who Kevin is. Yep. What I sing and what I rap is what I write, what goes through my mind, whether it's in my situation or I think about others people's situation and write about that. You know what I'm saying? When I was writing El Cuarto, I was just having fun. When I was writing Dude, I was like, oh my God, people need like a club song. So I wrote that. When I was writing Every Time, I'm like, how many people go through breakups, how many people go through relationship pain. Let me embrace that. And that's why I wrote Every Time. And for my following songs coming up, everything has a message and everything has a certain aesthetic that I want everybody to relate to. That's why I get so focused on being so diverse with my music, because I want to be that artist I'm sad, play Nivik. I want a club, play Nivik. I want reggaeton, play Nivik, And I feel like it's a very vulnerable thing that you see the real side of me in, but especially making bilingual music as a Latino artist is so meaningful to me because I'm kind of colliding my two worlds at once. I'm colliding my American side, being born in America and speaking English, and I'm embracing my roots, Costa Rican, and all my songs have Costa Rican slang in it, so I'm not only being bilingual, singing Spanish and English, I'm also throwing my own sazon in there from my own country, so I think that was the most important thing of me becoming composer, or, a singer and artist in general, was making sure not to just do it for fun, but if I'm gonna do it, for it to have a meaningful message.
Well, to show who you are as a person, because like you said, as an actor, you're portraying characters.
Yeah.
So your music side allows you to show the world who you are as a person. How do you feel we can break out of this pattern? Like, why do you think people feel the need to kind of put people in a box and tell them what they are, who they are?
I feel like people have the need to put us in specific boxes just because, not that it benefits them, but it's easier for them to keep track in a sense. You know what I mean? It's an easier process for them to do. And it's a very tough thing, because we're not combined with people where it's like hopping into a room and seeing reflections of yourself everywhere. And it's so irritating.
Yeah.
But I feel like the way to break out of it is not only by talking about it like we are right now, but also not letting it define us, like we've been talking about, Step outside of that zone, step outside of that comfort, let people know, use our voice, try to branch out in many different ways. And kind of just show how powerful we are outside of what they want to describe us as, show them, not sit here and cry about it and, protest about it, even though, that is, that can be a way. But it's like, instead of me just, what I'm saying, being like, no, I'm not going to work for you because you want me to do this, or, what I'm saying, or like, just like cry about it.
It's like, don't attack.
Yeah. It's like,
don't attack or sit back and let it happen. I say education is always the way to enlightenment, like to making a change.
Yeah.
Like, education is this peaceful way, especially if there's art involved, to make that change. But I think it's less of a societal thing and more of the more people that kind of join that movement, like each individual breaking out of this thing, I feel like that eventually equals a society breaking out of it. It's like I always say, when you're performing, let's say, like when I perform, and I can make a difference in one single person's life. That single person, what they do for the rest of their life, if they were impacted by this, it will impact all the people around them because of how they treat those people, how they inspire those people. So literally one person at a time. That's kind of what I say. Exactly what you were saying. If each person doesn't let that define them and they just use their voice and they're not afraid of using their voice, I feel like little by little we start breaking out of it. But I think, you know, every person's different and has different perspectives too. So it's really hard to kind of put a label on it, you know?
Yeah, no, it's definitely a hard thing to do. But I don't know. That's something I was talking to my boy Brandon about the other day too. It's hard living. Shout out Brandon, girl. Shout out Hayden. Shout out everybody I love. It's a very hard thing when him and me talk about things and I'm like, damn, dude, like not everybody thinks the way we do, and that sucks.
Yeah,
that sucks because we fully understand what we talk about, but if we were to sit here and explain it to somebody else, they'd look around like a chicken with its head cut off. You know what I mean? And they wouldn't know what we're talking about. They wouldn't understand. Maybe not because they don't understand what we're saying, but they just don't have the maturity level, or they don't have the same outlook on life and on the topic that we do. You know? But yeah, that's why. I mean, I feel like it's got to be every person for themselves. You really can't. It's got to be every person for themselves, and that every person for themselves is going to add up and become a big community that's going to get outside of the box. But it's not like you can rally up a community that's going to agree with everything.
All of them change their mind. But I definitely think like each person has an impact on the people around them. But also maybe each person, they have those people, maybe someone won't connect with you and with Brandon and your perspective, but maybe they'll have their own perspective and find others that have that same perspective. It just depends on who you connect with. And along with those people that you connect with, you slowly make that difference, you know?
Right.
So it's a complicated matter.
It is, yo. It is.
But I will say, I'd like to end on two things. Two questions.
What?
How would you define success? Not the Hollywood version, right? But your version.
LA, mansions, money, designer. Yeah. Are you kidding? No, I'm playing. No,
Mr. Comedian.
Success. That's such a... It's a difficult question without being difficult. To make it straightforward, to not bore anybody out there. Success, I feel like...
Webster's definition.
I feel like success, the definition I have for success is within yourself. You find success within yourself. Don't prove yourself to anybody. You have nobody to prove stuff to besides yourself. You don't even got to prove it to your parents, to your bestest friends, to your dog, to your cat, to nobody. You got to prove yourself to yourself, and, you know, if you believe it, prove yourself to God. I feel like that's what success is a feeling. It's not what you have or what you've achieved. It's what you feel, you know? Like if I feel successful on what I've done right now, then I'm successful. I still have a long way to go, and I still have a lot of ambitions, a lot of dreams. But even if I win an Oscar, I'm still not successful. I want to go more. I want to be more successful. I want to feel more success in my heart than just holding a prize.
Yeah.
You know, well-deserved prize from success, but, you know, it's not the full definition of what success is. I don't know if that was a little too complicated.
Looking within yourself, you'll know what success looks like for you, right? And speaking of Kevin Chacon's future success, what are your hopes and dreams for the future? Like, what do you hope to achieve in the future? And then what legacy do you want to leave with the world? Whether that is professionally or
Yeah.
human-wise, right?
Yo, everybody get interviewed by Sophia, dude. These questions are insane. All right, type. You know what? Type. Yo, I'll mess with this. This is good.
We're in a psychology session here.
Wow. What was the question?
What are your hopes and dreams for the future? And
what legacy?
in the future, what legacy do you want to leave?
No, if I'm being completely honest, going back to the whole family oriented, I never did acting for money. I never did music for money. I did it because it's from my heart, and I love this industry. Even though sometimes it gets hectic and, you know, a little toxic or a little crazy or a little too much sometimes, I love it, and I would never trade anything for this industry or what my life has become. But my biggest dreams, and I've always said this, has been to one day be able to sit down at a desk, grab a checkbook, write a bunch of zeros, and hand my mom and dad a check. Be like, hey, don't worry about anything. Go live the rest of the years that God gives you and enjoy this, and you know, you guys deserve it. I don't even worry about myself. I don't want a mansion. I don't want, you know what I'm saying, just accessories or materialistic things. They've done everything for me, and I don't want anything else but to see them not worry about money a day in their lives. You know what I mean? So I think that's my biggest dream to do in life, and that's my number one dream, is just to be able to do that for them. A legacy I want to leave behind, I feel like it's just I want to be a staple for the next generation, like especially for people of color. You know what I'm saying? I've had so many people tell me, oh my God, when you did Santiago of the Seas, even though you were a cartoon, it's crazy. I did like seeing a cartoon with that type of skin complexion, you know, and being amazing, or, you know what I'm saying? And especially being Latino, being light skinned, being brown skinned, being dark skinned, or being white Latino, just be a staple, be one of the greats, be somebody that people in the future look up to and be like, wow, he did it, and he did it right. You know, he never let anything get to him. He never took advantage of anything. He always did everything clean. He got his money clean, and he took care of the people he loved. That's what I want the legacy to be. I want to be remembered happily. You know, I don't want when I'm gone for it to be sad. I want it to be a celebration. I want it to be, you know what I'm saying? I just want it to be a big party, you know, of this new life that I'm about to enter, the white gates I'm about to pass through. And basically it. That's what I want the legacy to be.
Well, I will say, Kevin, since I met you, we knew you were going to make it there.
Oh my God, thank you. Thank you.
So I always like to end the podcast with a little fun, random, silly tradition.
But
it is to create a very, very short, random jingle based off of certain things that we may have learned today. So what are the central points that you feel we covered in this podcast? Give me like 3 phrases.
3 phrases?
3 or 4.
Phrases or words?
Words, phrases.
Okay. Diversity.
Finding success within yourself.
Correct.
Okay. Family oriented, I think.
Family oriented. I love that. And what's that new word I learned today?
Non-conformity. Believe it or not.
Non-conformity. Believe it or not, I just learned it.
And he's been doing it his whole life, and he just learned it.
This is what people just use really big words around me, and I really don't like it. You guys try to get fancy with it, and it gets too much. All right, non-conformity.
Okay, now we're gonna make lyrics out of this.
All right, bet. Ready? I'm not like the rest, be banging on my chest. From CR feeling blessed, with my family writing checks. Man, I love to feel success. Hey, that's fire. All right, what you got? What you got? What you got?
Mine is gonna be very random.
Okay.
Find success within yourself. No, don't conform to anyone else. 'Cause we're the non-conformists.
Ooh. Nah, you clutched up. I like it. I like it. I
All
like
right,
it.
well, thank you for being here, Kevin.
Thank you guys
thank you
guys for having me.
Thank you guys
all
for
you guys.
listening. Oh, yeah. Here we got our
Found my new
friend.
bestie. No, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. This was so much fun. Thank you for being such an amazing host.
Hey.
And yeah, just stay tuned.
Yeah. I mean, if you were inspired by this conversation, please remember you don't have to fit into anyone's mold. And spread love, not stereotypes. This is the Non-Conformists. See you next time.